What if I told you that in the next 45 minutes, you'll discover a power you've had since birth, but never knew how to use? A power so simple, so natural, that you've been doing it 23,000 times every single day without realizing you're holding the key to reshaping your entire reality. Let me take you back to the most important moment of your life, the moment you arrived here. You didn't think your way into this world. You didn't plan it or force it. You took a breath. That first inhale wasn't just oxygen entering your lungs. It was your soul saying yes to this human experience. It was consciousness choosing to dance with matter. It was the universe breathing itself into form through you. Think about that for a moment. Your very first act wasn't a thought or a word. It was breath. And in that breath, you knew something you've since forgotten. You knew that breathing wasn't just about staying alive. It was about staying connected to the source of all creation. But somewhere along the way, something changed. Maybe it was when life got busy. Maybe it was when stress became normal. Maybe it was when you learned that being an adult meant rushing through your days, checking off lists, solving problems. You started breathing just enough to survive. Short, shallow breaths high in your chest. Quick gulps of air between tasks. The kind of breathing that keeps your body running but leaves your spirit gasping. Right now, notice how you're breathing. Don't change it. Just notice. If you're like most people, your breath is probably quick and shallow. It's probably coming from the top of your chest instead of deep in your belly. This is what I call mechanical breathing. It's like putting just enough gas in your car to get to the next station, never filling the tank, never experiencing the freedom of a full journey. Ancient cultures understood something we've lost in our modern world. From the Sanskrit word prana to the Hebrew word ruach, from the Chinese qi to the Hawaiian ha, every wisdom tradition recognized breath as the sacred bridge. They knew it connected the physical world you can touch with the invisible world of energy and possibility. They knew that conscious breathing wasn't just good for your health. It was the secret to creating your reality. The Egyptians built entire temples designed around breath practices. They taught that each conscious breath could awaken different chambers of awareness within you. The yogis of India discovered that specific breathing patterns could literally shift the energy field around you, changing not just how you felt, but what showed up in your life. They weren't speaking in metaphors. They were teaching physics before we had words for quantum fields and electromagnetic frequencies. If you can feel the quantum field responding to your awareness right now, tap the like button. This simple action creates a vibrational agreement between you and the universe that you're ready to access these sacred doorways. Your like becomes an energetic signature that amplifies this transmission not just for you, but for everyone who will discover this message. Here's what's shocking about all this. You take about 23,000 breaths every day. That's 23,000 opportunities to connect with your creative power. But most of us waste every single one. We breathe while scrolling through our phones, while worrying about tomorrow, while replaying yesterday's conversations. We breathe unconsciously through traffic jams and meetings, through meals and conversations, through precious moments with loved ones. Every unconscious breath is a missed opportunity to literally reshape your reality. Because here's what those ancient teachers knew, that modern science is just beginning to prove. When you breathe with awareness, with intention, with presence, you're not just moving air, you're moving energy. You're sending signals to every cell in your body. You're creating an electromagnetic field that extends beyond your skin. You're literally programming the space around you with your frequency. The difference between mechanical breathing and sacred breathing is consciousness. Mechanical breathing happens to you. Sacred breathing happens through you. When you breathe mechanically, you're just surviving. When you breathe sacredly, you're creating. You're taking your birthright back. You're remembering that first breath when your soul chose this adventure. But what if you're not actually the one doing the breathing? What if there's someone else inside you who's been watching all along? If this awakens something deep within you, write in the comments below. I choose sacred breath over survival breath. Let these words become your declaration that you're ready to reclaim the 23,000 daily opportunities you've been missing. Your breath is not just keeping you alive, it's keeping you aligned with your highest potential. And if you're ready to dive deeper into the mysteries of consciousness and reality creation, subscribe now. Your subscription creates an energetic bond with this channel, ensuring that each new transmission finds you exactly when you need it most. You're not just subscribing to content, you're joining a field of awakening consciousness. Right now, as you listen to my voice, I want you to notice something that will change everything about who you think you are. Take a breath, just one conscious breath. As you breathe in, watch the air entering your nose. Feel it filling your lungs. Now slowly let it out. But here's the magic. While you were breathing, who was watching? Who noticed the air moving in and out? That's not your mind. That's not your thoughts. That's the real you. Most of us spend our entire lives believing we are the voice in our head. You know that voice. It starts talking the moment you wake up. What do I need to do today? Did I say the wrong thing yesterday? I hope this works out. That voice never stops. It comments on everything, judges everything, worries about everything, and we think that voice is who we are. But I'm about to show you something that will free you forever. While you're watching your breath right now, notice what your mind is doing. It might be saying this is silly. It might be wondering when this will be over. It might be thinking about dinner. Here's the beautiful truth. If you can hear those thoughts, if you can notice them happening, then you cannot be those thoughts. You are the one watching them. Imagine sitting by a river. The water flows past, sometimes fast, sometimes slow. Sometimes the water is clear, sometimes muddy. But you're not the river. You're sitting on the bank, watching it all flow by. Your thoughts are like that river. They flow and flow, but you remain steady on the bank. You are the witness, the observer, the one who sees. Ancient teachers used another beautiful image. They said your true nature is like the sky. Thoughts are just clouds passing through. Some clouds are dark and stormy. Those are your fears, your anger, your doubts. Some clouds are light and fluffy. Those are your hopes, your joy, your dreams. But notice something amazing. The sky itself never changes. Whether the weather is stormy or clear, the sky remains vast, open, untouched. That sky is who you really are. This observer part of you has been there your whole life. It's the same you that existed when you were 5 years old. It's the same you that will exist in 20 years. It doesn't age. It doesn't change. It just watches, aware and present. While your body has grown, while your thoughts have evolved, while your life has transformed, this witnessing presence has remained constant. Your mind wants you to believe it's in charge. It creates endless stories about who you are, what you should do, what others think of you. It pulls you into yesterday's regrets and tomorrow's worries. But the observer lives only here, only now, in this breath. in this moment. And this moment is where all your power lives. When you start identifying with the observer instead of the mental chatter, everything changes. You stop being pushed around by every thought and feeling. You become like a mountain, steady and strong, while thoughts and emotions pass like weather. You can watch anger arise without becoming angry. You can see fear without being afraid. You can observe doubt without doubting yourself. This isn't just spiritual talk. Quantum physics tells us that the act of observation changes what is observed. When you become the conscious observer of your inner world, you gain the power to change your outer world. The watcher within you is the creator within you. Now that you've met the real you, let me show you the secret doorway that's been hiding between every breath you take. If you can feel the observer awakening within you, affirm in the comments, "I am the witness, not the thoughts." Writing these words creates a vibrational shift, anchoring you in the truth that you are the unchanging sky behind all the passing clouds of mental chatter. You are the one who watches, the one who chooses, the one who creates. Have you ever experienced time slowing down during a crisis or a moment of deep love? You accidentally discovered what I'm about to teach you. Hidden between every breath you take is a doorway, a tiny gap, just 0.3 seconds long, where the impossible becomes possible. Most people rush past it their entire lives, never knowing they're missing the most powerful moment in creation. Take a breath with me right now. Breathe in slowly, now stop. Feel that moment when your lungs are full, but you haven't started to exhale yet. There's a pause there, a moment of perfect stillness. Now breathe out completely. And stop again. Feel that emptiness before your body wants to breathe in. Another pause, another doorway. These aren't empty spaces. These are the most pregnant moments in the universe. Ancient Egyptian mystery schools knew this secret thousands of years ago. They called it dwelling in the silence of Ra. Students would spend years learning to rest their awareness in these gaps between breaths. They weren't just doing breathing exercises. They were learning to touch the field where all possibilities exist. They understood that in the pause, you're not in the past or future. You're in the eternal now, where creation happens. Think of these pauses like the silence between musical notes. Without the silence, there would be no music, just noise. Or imagine the space between words that makes language possible. That pause in your breath works the same way. It's where the magic lives. It's where intention becomes reality. In that brief pause, something extraordinary happens. Your usual mental noise goes quiet. The voice that's always planning, worrying, remembering suddenly has nothing to say. And in that silence, a different kind of knowing emerges. Not the desperate wanting of your ego that says, "I need this to be happy," but the clear knowing of your soul that simply states, "This is who I am becoming." Scientists studying meditation have discovered that in these pause moments, your brainwaves shift. You move from the busy beta waves of normal thinking into the theta waves of deep creativity. Your whole nervous system resets. Your heart rhythm becomes coherent. You literally become a different person in that pause, even if just for a fraction of a second. The pause is like a cosmic womb. Just as a baby grows in the quiet darkness of the mother's womb, your dreams and intentions need this sacred darkness to take form. When you plant a seed in the ground, it doesn't grow in the light. It needs the dark, quiet space of the soil. Your intentions work the same way. They need the quiet pause to take root in the quantum field. But here's what most people get wrong. They try to force the pause. They hold their breath tight, creating tension. That's not it at all. The pause should feel as natural as the rest between heartbeats. You're not holding anything. You're resting in the space that's already there. You're being held by the pause, not creating it. Every time you rest in that gap, you're touching the same creative force that spins galaxies and blooms flowers. You're accessing the field where thoughts become things. You're standing at the threshold between what was and what could be. And in that sacred pause, you get to choose what comes next. But accessing this quantum pause means nothing if your body is still holding on to old programs. Let me show you what's really been blocking your manifestations. Your shoulders aren't just tight from stress. They're holding conversations you never finished. Your chest isn't just tense. It's protecting a heart that learned to armor itself. Every part of your body is storing a story, and until you breathe life back into these forgotten places, you'll keep creating the same reality over and over again. Think about the great temples of the world, the pyramids of Egypt, the cathedrals of Europe. Every stone was placed with intention. Every room was designed to channel sacred energy. Your body is built the same way. It's not just flesh and bones. It's a living temple with chambers of consciousness, each one holding different powers, different memories, different possibilities. Right now, scan your body with your awareness. Start at the top of your head and slowly move down. Where do you feel tightness? Where do you feel closed? Your body is talking to you. That knot in your stomach might be holding fear from years ago. That tightness in your throat might be words you swallowed instead of speaking. That heaviness in your chest might be love you're afraid to give or receive. Ancient Egyptians mapped the human body like a sacred building. They knew that breath was the key that unlocked each room. When you breathe consciously into different parts of your body, you're not just bringing oxygen, you're bringing awareness. You're bringing life force. You're saying to that part of yourself, I see you, I feel you, I'm here now. Let me show you how this works. Place your hand on your heart. Now breathe directly into that space, not just into your lungs, but imagine the breath flowing right into your heart center. Feel the warmth of your hand. Feel the rise and fall. This is the chamber of love and connection. Every time someone broke your trust, every time you felt alone, every time you chose safety over love, it left an imprint here. Now move your hand to your belly. Breathe deep into this power center. This is where your intuition lives. This is where you know things without knowing how you know. But it's also where you store fear, where you hold back your power, where you learned to make yourself small. Feel the breath expanding this space, making room for your full power to return. Your throat holds every truth you didn't speak. Your shoulders carry burdens that were never yours to carry. Your lower back supports not just your spine, but all the ways you've had to support yourself when no one else would. Each area is biographical. Your body is your life story, written in sensation and tension. But here's the miracle. Every conscious breath is like renovation work on your temple. You don't have to know the whole story. You don't have to remember when or why you closed down. You just have to breathe with love into these spaces. The breath knows what to do. It knows how to soften what's hard, how to open what's closed, how to release what's ready to go. When you breathe into your heart, you're not just healing old heartbreak. You're expanding your capacity to love and be loved. When you breathe into your belly, you're not just releasing fear, you're reclaiming your power. When you breathe into your throat, you're not just loosening tension, you're freeing your authentic voice. Your body wants to be your ally, not your enemy. It's been waiting for you to come home, to inhabit it fully, to breathe life into all its forgotten corners. Once your temple is clear, something extraordinary begins happening to everyone around you, and science can measure it. If you're ready to reclaim your inner temple, declare in the comments, "My body is a sacred space of healing." Let this affirmation signal to every cell that you're no longer storing old stories, but creating new possibilities. Your temple is ready to be inhabited fully, breathed into completely, and honored deeply. Right now, without knowing it, you're broadcasting your inner state to everyone within 8 feet of you. And they're responding whether they realize it or not. Your heart creates an invisible field of energy that reaches far beyond your skin. When you breathe with stress, you're sending out waves of chaos. When you breathe with peace, you become a walking sanctuary that others can feel. Scientists at the HeartMath Institute discovered something amazing. Your heart doesn't just pump blood. It generates an electromagnetic field that's 60 times stronger than your brain's field. This field changes completely based on how you breathe. When your breathing is scattered and shallow, your heart rhythm becomes chaotic. But when you breathe slowly and deeply, your heart creates a smooth, coherent pattern that others can actually sense. Think of your breath field like the surface of a lake. When you're stressed, worried, or rushing through life, you're like someone frantically splashing in the water. You create waves and ripples that disturb everything around you. People feel agitated near you without knowing why. Conversations become tense. Even your pets act restless. But when you breathe from that peaceful center we've been building, you become like a mountain reflected perfectly on calm water. Still, grounded, and magnetically peaceful. Have you ever walked into a room and immediately felt either calm or anxious without anyone saying a word? Have you noticed how some people seem to carry peace wherever they go, while others bring chaos? This isn't your imagination. It's your breath field in action. We're constantly sending and receiving these invisible signals through the quality of our breathing. Children are especially sensitive to these fields. They haven't learned to ignore their natural intuition yet. When a parent breathes with stress and worry, children often become clingy or act out without understanding why. But when that same parent takes 3 conscious breaths and settles into their center, the child often calms down as if by magic. The parent didn't say anything different or do anything different. They just changed their breathing, which changed their field. This field effect works in every situation. When you breathe consciously before a difficult conversation, you're not just preparing yourself. You're creating an energetic container that can hold whatever needs to happen. When you walk into your workplace centered in your breath, you're quietly influencing the entire atmosphere. People become more creative, more collaborative, more open without knowing why. The beautiful thing about understanding your breath field is that it shows you how connected we all really are. You're not just an isolated person trying to fix your own life. You're part of a vast web of energy. Every conscious breath you take contributes to the overall field of peace on this planet. Every time you choose coherence over chaos, you're making it easier for others to do the same. But this influence isn't something you need to think about or manage. It happens naturally when you focus on your own inner state. The field responds to authenticity, not performance. When you breathe from a genuine place of presence and peace, that genuineness radiates outward without any effort on your part. This is why ancient teachings often spoke of awakened people as those who serve simply by being. They understood that consciousness itself is contagious, that peace is magnetic, and that one person breathing from their true center can shift the energy of an entire room. But here's what nobody tells you about using this power. The secret isn't in doing more. It's in doing absolutely nothing. If you haven't already hit the like button and you're feeling the power of your breath field expanding right now, activate this energy by liking now. Your like creates a quantum entanglement with this teaching, ensuring that every time you breathe consciously, you're connected to this field of coherence we're building together. The most successful people in history mastered something you've never been taught: how to access infinite power through absolute stillness. We live in a world that worships action, that tells us more effort equals more results, that keeps us constantly busy, constantly pushing toward the next goal. But the quantum field that responds to your consciousness operates by completely different rules. The field doesn't care about your to-do list or your 5-year plan. It doesn't respond to how hard you try or how much you struggle. It responds to how aligned you are. It responds to your frequency, your coherence, your state of being. And the most coherent state of all is stillness. Not the stillness of giving up or being lazy, but the dynamic stillness of a mountain. Think about a mountain for a moment. It appears completely still, yet it's tremendously powerful. It doesn't struggle against storms. It allows them to pass. It doesn't chase the sunset. It simply receives the light. Rivers flow around it. Seasons change upon it. Yet it remains centered in its own presence. This is the kind of stillness that moves worlds. When you learn to breathe into this mountain-like stillness, something extraordinary happens. Reality begins to rearrange itself around you instead of against you. Opportunities that you could never have forced begin to appear naturally. People who can help you seem to cross your path at exactly the right moment. Solutions to problems you've been wrestling with suddenly become obvious. This isn't magic, it's physics. When you're in a state of stillness and coherence, you're no longer broadcasting the chaotic signals of desperation, control, or struggle. Instead, you're sending out the clear frequency of trust, openness, and alignment. The field responds to this clarity by organizing circumstances to match your state. Consider the eye of a hurricane. All around it, winds rage at hundreds of miles per hour. Destruction and chaos swirl in every direction, but at the very center is perfect calm, perfect stillness. From that center, the entire storm system is organized. This is the kind of stillness you can develop within yourself. Not the stillness of someone who has given up, but the stillness of someone who has learned to be the organizing principle of their own life. The difference between control and alignment becomes crystal clear in this stillness. Control tries to force external circumstances to match internal desires. It's exhausting because you're fighting against the natural flow of life. Alignment allows internal coherence to magnetize external harmony. It's effortless because you're cooperating with life instead of fighting it. When you breathe consciously, when you rest in the quantum pause, when you inhabit your inner temple fully, you're not trying to make things happen. You're allowing things to happen through you. You become a clear channel for the intelligence of the universe to express itself in your life. This doesn't mean becoming passive or lazy. True stillness is incredibly alive, incredibly aware. It's the stillness of a master archer just before releasing the arrow. Completely focused, completely present, completely ready for whatever emerges. From this place, your actions become effortless and incredibly effective because they're arising from alignment rather than effort. The mountain doesn't try to be powerful, it simply is. And in that being, it shapes everything around it. This is your invitation to stop trying so hard and start being so present that reality has no choice but to respond. Now let me show you exactly how to use everything you've learned in your daily life, starting with the moment you wake up tomorrow. If you feel the mountain's power stirring within you, right below, I choose alignment over effort. These words become your commitment to stop forcing and start flowing, to stop struggling and start trusting. You are learning to be the calm center that organizes reality instead of being swept away by it. If you haven't already subscribed and the mountain's wisdom is calling to you, subscribe to this channel now. Your subscription activates a continuous stream of quantum teachings that will keep flowing into your reality. You're aligning yourself with a frequency of transformation that will support your journey from effort to effortless creation. Tomorrow morning, before you check your phone, before your mind starts its list-making, you have a 3-minute window to set the frequency for your entire day. Most people waste this golden opportunity by immediately diving into emails, news, or mental planning. But what if I told you that how you breathe in those first few minutes determines whether you'll spend the day reacting to life or creating it? The moment you wake up, your brain is in a special state. Scientists call it the hypnagogic state, where your mind is still soft and open, like clay ready to be shaped. Your nervous system hasn't yet locked into the stress patterns of yesterday. Your energy field is clean and receptive. This is your daily reset button, your chance to program the quantum field with your highest intentions. Here's how to claim this power. The instant you become aware that you're awake, before you move, before you think about what you need to do, take 3 conscious breaths. Not just any breaths, but breaths that call your observer self online. Feel yourself settling into the witness, the part of you that watches thoughts instead of being swept away by them. In these 3 breaths, you're choosing to be the creator of your day instead of its victim. Now, while you're still lying there, scan your inner temple. Breathe into your heart center and ask, how do I want to feel today? Not what do I want to accomplish, but how do I want to be? Maybe it's peaceful, maybe it's confident, maybe it's open and loving. Let that feeling fill your heart with each breath. You're not trying to force anything. You're simply setting your baseline frequency. Move your breath down to your belly, your power center. Breathe into that space and feel your strength, your capability, your inner knowing. This is where your intuition lives. As you breathe here, you're connecting with the part of you that knows exactly what to do and when to do it. You're programming yourself to trust your inner guidance throughout the day. Now comes the magic part. In the pause between breaths, let a simple intention crystallize. Not a complicated goal or a desperate wish, but a clear, gentle knowing of who you're choosing to be today. Maybe it's I am a source of peace wherever I go. Maybe it's I trust life to support me. Maybe it's I see opportunities everywhere. Let this intention settle into your cells like morning dew. Before you get up, take one more moment to feel your breath field expanding around you. Imagine it extending 8 feet in every direction, carrying the frequency you've just created. You're not just setting an intention for yourself. You're becoming a walking blessing for everyone you'll encounter. Sarah, a working mother, started doing this practice 6 months ago. She told me that her entire family dynamic shifted. Her kids stopped fighting in the mornings. Her husband became more helpful. Her co-workers started coming to her with their problems because they felt calmer around her. She didn't change her behavior. She changed her frequency. This isn't positive thinking or wishful hoping. This is quantum programming. You're using the most receptive moment of your day to align your consciousness with your highest possibilities. You're becoming the conscious architect of your reality instead of its accidental victim. But what about when life hits hard? When emotions overwhelm? Let me teach you the emergency protocol that changes everything in 30 seconds. If you're committed to transforming your mornings, share in the comments. I program my day with conscious breath. Let this declaration mark the beginning of your new relationship with time, where you become the creator of your daily frequency instead of its victim. Tomorrow morning, you begin anew. If you haven't already subscribed and you're committed to mastering the art of conscious creation, subscribe right now. Your subscription creates an energetic commitment to your own awakening, ensuring that the universe continues to deliver the exact teachings you need for your evolution. You're not just following a channel, you're following your destiny. That moment when anger rises, when anxiety grips, when fear takes over. That's not your enemy. That's your greatest opportunity for quantum leap transformation. Most people try to push away intense emotions or get swept away by them. But I'm about to show you how to use emotional storms as rocket fuel for rapid reality shifts. Here's what nobody tells you about emotions. They're not just feelings. They're concentrated energy. Pure creative force looking for direction. When you meet that energy with conscious breath instead of resistance or reaction, you can transform it into anything you want. You can turn anger into clarity, fear into excitement, sadness into compassion. But it requires a different approach than what you've been taught. The moment you feel an intense emotion rising, you have about 30 seconds before it either takes you over or becomes your ally. This is your window. Don't try to calm down. Don't try to think positive thoughts. Don't try to make the feeling go away. Instead, do this. Take 3 deep breaths, but breathe into the emotion, not away from it. If anger is rising in your chest, breathe directly into that fire. If fear is gripping your stomach, send your breath right into that knot. If sadness is weighing on your heart, breathe love directly into that heaviness. You're not trying to fix anything. You're bringing the observer, the witness, into direct contact with the energy. You're saying to the emotion, I see you. I feel you. I'm here with you. Here's what happens when you do this. The emotion stops being something that's happening to you and becomes something you're experiencing with awareness. The difference is everything. When you're lost in the emotion, you become it. You are angry, you are afraid, you are sad. But when you breathe with the emotion, you remain the observer. You can feel angry without being anger. You can experience fear without becoming fear. Let me walk you through a real situation. Imagine your boss criticizes your work in front of everyone. Immediately, heat rises in your chest. Your mind starts spinning stories about unfairness, about wanting to quit, about what you should have said. This is the moment. 3 breaths into that heat. Not to make it go away, but to stay present with it. In that presence, something magical happens. The raw energy of anger transforms into the clear energy of truth. You might realize you need to have a private conversation with your boss. You might see that their criticism actually has value. You might discover a strength you didn't know you had. Or imagine getting news that scares you. Your stomach drops. Your mind races to worst-case scenarios. Again, 3 breaths into that fear. Not to convince yourself everything will be okay, but to stay present with what is. In that presence, fear often reveals itself as excitement in disguise. It's your system preparing you for something important. It's energy gathering to help you rise to a challenge. The ancient alchemists had a saying, they could turn lead into gold. What they really meant was they could transform the heaviest, darkest emotions into the lightest, most powerful states. Every emotional storm carries within it the seeds of your next breakthrough. But only if you meet it with breath, with presence, with the courage to feel fully while remaining aware. This isn't about becoming emotionless. It's about becoming emotionally intelligent. It's about using the full spectrum of human feeling as fuel for your evolution instead of evidence of your problems. You now hold the keys to reality creation. But there's one final secret that will multiply everything you've learned 1,000-fold. If you haven't already liked this transmission and you're ready to transform your relationship with emotions forever, press the like button now. This action sends a signal to the quantum field that you're choosing mastery over reactivity. Your like becomes an energetic anchor that will remind you of this power every time you face an emotional storm. What if every person who crossed your path today was waiting for what you're about to become? What if your breath could literally reshape the world? You've learned to observe your thoughts, to rest in the quantum pause, to clear your inner temple, to broadcast coherence, to find power in stillness, to program your mornings, and to transform emotional storms. Now comes the ultimate truth. You're not just changing your life. You're becoming a conscious node in the planetary field, a lighthouse whose coherence creates permission for others to transform. Think about how a single candle can light up an entire dark room. Your coherent breathing works the same way. Every time you choose presence over reaction, every time you breathe from your center instead of your chaos, you're not just helping yourself. You're making it easier for everyone around you to remember their own power. You're becoming what the world needs most. A living example that peace is possible, that clarity is available, that love is the strongest force in the universe. Scientists studying group meditation have discovered something incredible. When just 1% of a population practices coherent breathing or meditation, crime rates drop, hospital admissions decrease, and overall well-being increases in that area. They call it the field effect. Your personal practice isn't personal at all. It's planetary service. Every conscious breath you take is a vote for the kind of world you want to live in. But here's where it gets even more powerful. You have a unique frequency signature, like a spiritual fingerprint that only you can contribute to the world. Your specific combination of experiences, gifts, and perspectives creates a vibration that no one else can offer. When you breathe from your authentic center, when you align with your deepest truth, you're not just finding yourself. You're giving the world something it's been waiting for. Imagine breathing not just for your own healing, but for your future self, the person you're becoming, the life you're creating, the impact you're meant to have. With each conscious breath, you're calling that future into the present moment. You're collapsing the timeline between who you are now and who you're meant to be. You're literally breathing your destiny into existence. This is what the ancient mystics meant when they talked about becoming a walking prayer, a living meditation. You're not just someone who breathes consciously sometimes. You become someone whose very presence is a blessing. Your breath field becomes a sanctuary where others can remember their own wholeness. Your coherence becomes a tuning fork that helps others find their own frequency. The world is waiting for you to step into this power. Not the power to control or manipulate, but the power to be so authentically yourself, so genuinely present, so deeply aligned that reality has no choice but to respond. You're joining a growing community of conscious breathers around the planet. People who understand that changing the world starts with changing the quality of their own presence. If you're ready to step into your role as a reality architect, proclaim in the comments, "I breathe for the healing of the world." Your words join a global chorus of conscious beings who understand that personal transformation is planetary service. You are not just changing your life, you are contributing to the awakening of human consciousness itself. If this transmission has transformed something within you, share it now with those who are ready to step into their own power as reality architects. Your share creates quantum entanglement between this teaching and every soul who encounters it through you. You become a bridge, a messenger, a catalyst for the awakening that our world desperately needs. Share this gift of remembering with those who are ready to breathe their destiny into existence. Take a breath with me now. Feel yourself as both the breather and the witness. Feel your connection to every other conscious being on this planet. Feel your unique contribution to the field of possibility. You are not just a person learning to breathe. You are a reality architect, a frequency holder, a living bridge between what is and what could be. You are the door. You are the key. Step through.